Well, it ain't going to take long for it to dry now. Where I started up here in the front, it's already pretty much dry. Of course, it's going to take a little while longer underneath the trees in the shade. And obviously, I've got a bunch more screwing down to do. And so while it's drying, I'll get my knee pads on and I'll start screwing down the loose places. Hold on to your hats. It's a beautiful day here. About 90 in the sun, but low humidity. And inside the shop is about 80. And it's warmer in there because of the heat coming off the ceiling, don't you know? But we're going to take care of that too. I expect I'll be putting some insulation in the ceiling, and I'm waiting on a final payment for my tractor lawnmower that I sold in Minnesota, and that's going to buy me part of a load of lumber to finish off the siding on this section of the shop, as well as maybe build a chicken coop. How would that be? Well, as you can see, my head clears now, and I'm not totally stupid, ain't too smart sometimes, but I whacked my head twice. Once walking into it, had my hat on, and you know, you have a brim on your hat, it blocks your vision just in front of you above. Yep, the other time I was bent over and I came up right underneath that thing. So I decided, seeing as how I couldn't finish screwing the roof down today because I ran out of screws, and I'm not going to drive half an hour each way just to get a box of screws, and I have to go down to Parsons tomorrow anyway. I figured, well, I'll change my course of action today and do this. Well, you saw when I cut the end over here how that bottom piece dropped, and I mean it popped. So I know that there's more weight on this little beam that we have there now than what I want. And I'd already contemplated putting in a partial wall in here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it here, and I will do a little bit of a one on the other side as well. And what I'll do is I'll put pegboard on there, or I'll put hangers of some kind so I can hang my angle grinders and drills and all that kind of stuff off of there. So it'll be convenient, and it won't take up that much space, and it'll also help because down here along this wall, where you can see all of these jars with screws and stuff in them, that's where my workbench is going to be, one of them anyway. And so I'll run the workbench right up to that short wall, and it'll stick out the 2 feet just like I'll have the wall come out 2 feet. So essentially I'll end up only having to span about 8 feet in the middle, and I will end up putting another 2x4 up on that beam, and before I put 2x4 up there, and I have the piece that I ripped off of this 2x8, I can use that, but I'm also going to put plywood in that middle section, and I'm going to jack it up so it's perfectly straight across. I'll glue the plywood on, and then I'll put the 2x4 on top of my short knee walls on each side. And that'll cut down my load bearing on that beam right there. But at least now I can walk through here, even with my hat on. If I stand on my toes, I could hit my head, but otherwise not. And I already showed you, I thought that saw was getting kind of difficult to cut through that wood. Look at that, George. Goes to figure. This is Goofy's garage after all. So until next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. I hope you don't mind, I ain't got my teeth in today. When I'm at home and I'm just with friends, I don't put in my teeth. And so we're just friends, right? And you'll accept me as I am, I certainly hope. And so that's the way it is. When I go out doing fancy stuff, when I go to church and I go out to eat, of course I gotta have my nibblers in when I go out to eat, you know what I'm saying? So, till next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, saying thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And as one of the guys that came to work on my house told me, when I asked him what I need to do to learn how to speak Tennessean, he just told me all you gotta do is say y'all a lot. So y'all come back again here. Bye now. Well, motorcycle lift is good for more than lifting goofy carts.